We have started. Nazmeen teacher, you can begin.
Good morning, a very good morning to all of you, to all and maybe my colleagues. Try this teaching actually, it's just a general topic and it deals with,
We cannot hear it.
can you hear me clearly?
No.
It's very feeble, teacher. If you can sit a little bit nearer to the device.
Okay, sure. Try this teaching, actually this topic is just general and it deals with students' development and active learning process. Okay, it's just 1 minute time. So look at this picture and think one question about it. So have you thought of a question about this picture?
Yes.
Yes.
So can I have someone's views?
I just thought, what's there on the other side? This person is taking too much risk.
And how is he going to cross to the other side?
Yes.
If we can try, maybe we can solve the problem.
Yeah. So I think all your questions are correct and proper, but actually the purpose of showing this picture, it is to capture the attention of all together immediately.
Right.
Okay, we'll see here. Teachers teach, but students don't listen. So can you think what could be the reason?
Mm.
We didn't catch their attention in the beginning, and we are not catering to their needs.
Yes, yes,
Exactly, ma'am. I'm also agree with ma'am. First, we have to take their attention. Then
yes.
we can start our lesson. Yeah, whatever we are planning.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You both are correct. So, like what we do, like teachers often lecture using a single method that they come into the classroom, pump in information, what they have learned from the books, and students are just passively listening. So, once teacher complete, the syllabus is over with with little or no scope for interaction. So this delivery mode lectures demotivating for the students. So as a result, leads to boredom. So students get boredom. You can see that some are sleeping, yawning, and disruptive or something. Now, why students get bored in the class? So we see here about 30% of the students indicate they are bored due to lack of interaction with teachers. And 75% report that material being taught is not interesting. Now, we see here it is a con of learning. So it is, we can say, identified by Edgar Dale. So what he says that after 2 weeks, we tend to remember. Like when we read something, like 10% of what we read, we remember 10% of what we read. But when we hear words, so 20% of what we hear, we can remember. And when we see something, so 30% of what we see. So when we watch a movie, we look at an exhibit, or we do something is done on location, so that 50% we remember, and 70% of what we say, like what we speak, what we communicate, what we present, what we discuss, and then 90% of what we say and do, like presentation and what we do. So this is what, like, how much can we learn and how much can we understand. Now, learners are often bored in the classroom for a variety of reasons. So we say, like, if students already know the material, so they are anxious to move on. So it means if teachers keeps on lecturing and teaching and repeating the same material, so they get bored. Uh, Secondly, we can say they are not getting the challenge. They need to stay engaged. Lack of interesting in the subject, lack of understanding of the topic. If students sit long, now sitting long in the class without doing anything, so they may lose focus in class. They are off task and they are disruptive. So their intelligence and creativity are hindered. So when students sit still for long, so the learning process is hindered rather than enhanced. Teachers talk too much in the class, and she's not giving any opportunity or chance to the students to say something or to do something or to speak. And then students feel unconnected. When students feel like they are not taken seriously enough, and no action comes out from the teacher of what they say, so also they feel bored and lacking the skills they need. And maybe the teachers are not presenting the material in a way that engage students. Lack of student motivation. Students who are not motivated will not learn effectively. They won't participate in the class, and some of them become disruptive. So here, teachers, they have to encourage them, make them feel important, praise their work, reward them for being active participant in the class. And teachers are too serious all the time. Now, teachers believe that, suppose if we smile in the class, or if we laugh with the students and all, so they may the class become messy, or they create problems, or they misbehave. But sometimes, like, while teaching, while explaining, so we have to give ourselves permission to smile. We have to loosen up a bit. So the students, the more you enjoy your class, the more students will enjoy learning with you. So all the time serious means the students get bored, and maybe students hate hate the teacher, or maybe hate the subject, so they are not interested.
ആറിഞ്ച് പ്രശ്നം.
Now, what students want? Students want more interactive classes, and they prefer activities that involve interaction with teachers and peers. Students want connection.
لما ما يجامعوا بيور
Students want connection, because students are more likely to participate in the class if they feel connected to their teacher. So when they feel their teacher cares for them and wants them to succeed, so they pay better attention. It means that teacher is chill and cool and patient with all the students. uh, Teacher listens to every response and also provides feedback. So in this way means the students are connected with the teachers and with their learning. Students want active learning. What is active learning? Active learning is any learning task that encourages students to participate or interact with the learning process rather than passively receive information from the teacher. Active learning focuses on how students learn, not just what they learn. Active learning helps students to become lifelong learners, because this type of learning retain into their minds for long. And active learning also helps to maintain students' concentration and promotes higher level skills. How active learning looks like into the practice. Start our right. Now, what is start our right? It means don't jump into the content delivery straight away. Suppose teachers, they come into they step into the class, they write we can say the topic name on the board, and they ask the students, open your books and open this page, and they just straight away they jump into their delivery note. So here, uh, first of all, that is get student focused with the help of attractive starter activity or warm up activity. Like what I do in my classes always, all the time. Like suppose whenever I want to start a new lesson, I don't write on the board the topic name at first. Even students, they ask like, teacher, what we are going to read today, or what we are going to which lesson we are going to start. But I don't say anything. Uh, I start uh, my topic with we can say with a story, or with any quote, or with any event or example or something, and then I make them guess the topic. So I make students to come up themselves with the topic, and really the students really they come up with the topic. So it is something really amazing. So even students, they like it. So they are very active, and everybody start thinking of the topic. Next one, mix it up. Mix it up means you have to vary the routine. Like every time we have to think about different teaching styles. So because students enjoy classes when they are presented something new. It means, like for example, we can say as reciprocal teaching. Like sometimes we ask students to teach what they have done to the class, or to the class as a whole, or in a group. Sometimes we can ask students to come up with their own question and answer, like about the content, about the lesson, the topic they have learned. So we can ask them, you have to generate some questions and their answers. sometimes we can change our style as right to learn. So have students write to discover what they know about a lesson. So something like not actually the same style we keep on, so that also make boring. And provide discussion time while teaching. Uh, it means that don't simply teach from the book. We like teachers, like we teachers, like simply we just read and teach from the book. So, but we have to, or and we assign reading to some of the students. Okay, you read. So we what we have to do while teaching, we have to stop and then ask questions. So like explain something, a small portion, and then ask question. So this make all the students as a whole means attentive. And while discussing, make sure that all students are involved in a discussion. Consider choosing consider choosing students to answer rather than inviting them to raise their hands, because what happened, those who raise hand, so we often ask them, but others maybe they feel shy to answer, or sometimes means they are fear maybe they will be ridiculed or taunted if they are wrong. So better we choose students to answer rather than inviting them to raise their hands, and try to ask more why and what if questions. So while when we teach, so we have to pause, we have to stop and ask. So we have to ask why or what if. So in this way, we can involve the students uh, participate in the class, and really it works. And this is really works. There was a student, one of the students in my class, like he always sits quietly at the back. He never participates, and he never answers, and he never raises hand. So I always used to ask him that you tell me something, and I'm sure you can do it. I'm sure you can say something. But and then imagine that the boy, I used to get very amazing points from him, really imagine. So I was so surprised to see that. So always we should not ask students, those who always raise hand and to say something, and then give short uh, um, students, we can say their concentration limit is less than is less than that of the adults, like between the ages of 6 to 12, we can say maybe 10 to 20 minutes. After that, their concentration or their attention wanders. So here what we have to do, so whenever we notice that they are getting bored, or if you notice any sudden change in their behavior, maybe they're looking around here and they're looking at the time, yawning, doodling, something like that. So what we have to do here, we should find ways to get their attention. We don't have to say that what you're doing, listen to me, sit straight, all these things. No, whenever we notice that if there is any sudden change in their behavior, or if we find that students attention span wanders, so then we have to pause, we have to stop, and then we have to find ways to get their attention back. So what we have to do, so at once we can ask them, okay, stand up, everybody. So let them stand, let them stretch, let them do something, like even for a simple activity, you can ask them, okay, everybody look in the eyes of your partner. So everybody will turn and look into the eyes of their partner, so they become like they are refreshed, they will get the energy back. Tell a joke or something, or tell something happened to you recently. So say something like it can be anything, like what your mother said to you this morning, or what happened to you this morning, whatever thing, at least just to get them back on track. Now here, uh, I said in the beginning that we have to start our right, that we don't have to jump straight away into the content. So we have to we have to get students focused with the help of attractive introductory activity. So it is an activity that the teacher plans to prepare the learner for the lesson in an interesting way that attracts their attention and stimulates them mentally, emotionally, and psychologically to receive the lesson and interact with it. So, what should be the aim of this starter activity? To involve all learners from the first moment and allows them to settle into work more quickly. As I did in the beginning, I showed a picture. So, like that means we can do something so to make them, to allow them to settle into work more quickly as you enter into the class. Now, conditions to be met in a good starter activity: planned well and engages all students. This is one of the important conditions, that the activity engages all students. As I showed you the picture, and everybody was engaged, or everybody was involved to think about a question, about a question. So engages all students and to be relevant top to be relevant to the topic, but it can be anything which is interesting and attractive. But why to be relevant to the topic? To be relevant to the topic because they better understand, they better perceive the concept of the content. So that's why it should be relevant to the topic. To be as diverse as possible, not every time the same type of activity, but you can change every time. So that means according to whatever content you are going to start or teach. To be appropriate to the level of maturity of the learners means it's not too difficult. That means we have to see the understanding level of the students. It should be according to the level of understanding. To be attractive, interesting, and motivation for the learners. It should last no longer than 5 to 7 minutes. And to be simple does not require further explanation. Means you don't have to explain it. Just you show them, or you just start with it, and student immediately will be engaged thinking about it. Now, here are some attractive ways that can use start activities. Actually, these are uh, the ideas which I use in my class or in my classes. So reading a paragraph from an external source, but it should be linked to that topic. We can narrate a story or an anecdote from real life situation. We can relate a situation linked to that topic and ask what would be their role in such situation. We can show them a picture and ask some questions that focus on the information contained in the topic or in the lesson. Or we can start the lesson with the help of an appropriate quote, such as a Quranic verse or a saying of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or a verse of poetry or a famous quote by a scholar, philosopher, or a thinker. So this all should be linked to the topic. So I think it will be easy. We can say like 30-40% of the topic will be understood if it is if any activity related to the content or to the topic. So this is some of the things. These are the things, or we can say use of technology. If we have the capacity, so we can use that also. But here all these things actually, according to my content, according to my topic, I'm using all these ways to start my lesson. Now, here there are some other ideas. So other than the activity which is linked to the topic, so we can use other ideas can be used. So here we can show them a picture and ask them to form questions. So they can think and form a question. Or now here we can give them some answers and we ask them to write a question. Like 7, they can form any question. Niagara Falls or anything means, so they have to like quick within 5 minutes they have to prepare some questions. Uh, Another idea is observation power. So you can show the picture just for 1 minute, and then you pull out the picture and ask question like how many boxes were there, how many boxes were just at the top shelf or at the bottom shelf, or such type of question you can ask whether they can. Another idea is a short film presentation of the idea. It can be a video clip is shown and then some questions asked. So these questions can be asked to arrive at the topic of the lesson. Now, education. Education is derived from the Latin word which means educare. It means draw out. So draw out the ideas and information from students. Like rather than you give them, so you take from them. So even like myself when I teach the lesson, I don't tell them the meaning or even the we can say the definition of anything. I just even take the definition, the concept, the real understanding from the students. So in this way they learn. So like in Arabic, we can say education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. So this is a quote by Albert Einstein. Teacher versus educator. Is an educator different from a teacher? So answer is yes. Why and how? Now, teachers focus on academic activities and they prepare students for exams and help them achieve academic success. But educator, we can say, he educates by giving knowledge and experience. Educator goes beyond the syllabus and focus on preparing students for life. So we can say he is an mentor, he is advisor, he is a guide, like he is more than a teacher. So in short, we can say teaching is about providing information, but education is about grooming students' personality. So which one are you? Are you a teacher or are you an educator? So anybody can think about them. Which one are you?
Sometimes a teacher, sometimes educator.
Yeah. So like we think we are both. We teach also. We also provide information and also we educate them morally and mentally and or physically and everything. Why you shouldn't be your student's friend? and what you should be instead. Now, you can be a teacher, you can be a coach, counselor, mentor, role model, ideal, but never a friend. Can you tell me why no? Why not a friend?
They have their friends like of their own age group or their peers. A teacher need not be a friend. If a teacher becomes a friend, in some point of time, he or she will lose the role as a guide.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Absolutely. MashaAllah. Jazakillah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, because students actually they have friends. They have many friends of their age level and all. So they don't need a friend. So students, so if we become, we strive to be their mentor. So like as a mentor, we can guide our students, we can counsel them, we can care about them. So at the same time, like our our respect and authority remain intact. So if we become their friends, so uh, uh, they won't respect us, right? So we lose respect. So and then in the end means it end up taking uh, uh, the students will end up taking advantages of the friendship. So that's why we don't need to be their friend, but we have to be their guide, their mentor, their coach, their everything, but not a friend. Now, teaching for inspiring students. So two things needed for inspiring the students. So A is research-based techniques and then relationships. Research-based techniques include 4 C's. So according, we can say to the National Education Association identified 4 C's as a list of important 21st century skills that student must learn. So 4 C's are choice, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. The, the classroom atmosphere governed by 4 C's requires a shift from teacher-centered to student-centered. So as we know that teacher-centered, that where teacher stands in front or middle of the class while students sit quietly and are not allowed to talk to each other. And the teacher is the main source of students' information. So we can say teacher is as active role while students are passive receptive role. So it needs to be shifted or to be transformed uh, from from teacher centered to student centered. Student centered class means students were placed at the center of their learning. Now, the first of the 4 C's technique is choice. So provide students with activities according to their learning style. Give students choice how they want to work alone or in pair or in a group, because it helps to foster their interest, because every student has their own likes and interests and abilities and intelligence. So they want to do something according to their own interest. So students like doing it because they make their own choices. So example, like write different tasks on the board and let them choose uh, any any of the 2 tasks. So this likely to result in a beneficial outcomes, because students, so you can So they can have a choice to do with the material they study, even the assignments they complete, or with the peers with whom they work. So this can boost their engagement and motivation. The second four C's is communication. So I'm just going fast because I'm just going to give you the tips how to enhance student speaking abilities. Watching films or videos. Now here we have to video and then ask questions. So let them communicate. Let them communicate.
Excuse me, teacher. Maybe
Yes.
the meeting will end in less than a minute. Then I will start new again, so you can complete. Okay. Maybe.
Okay. Okay, teacher.
Just restart it. Ma'am, just restart it right now.
Okay. Okay.
So I can start now.
Let me end and I will restart. I will start a new meeting.